One morn before me were three figures seen, with bowed necks and joined hands, side-faced, and one behind the other stepped serene in placid sandals and in white robes graced. They passed like figures on a marble urn when shifted round to see the other side. They came again as when the urn once more shifted around the first seen shades return, and they were strange to me as may betide with basis to one deep in Phidian lore. How is it, shadows, that I knew you not? How came ye muffled in so hush a mask? Was it a silent, deep, disguised plot to steal away and leave without a task my idle days? Ripe was the drowsy hour, the blissful cloud of summer indolence benumbed my eyes. My pulse grew less and less. Pain had no sting and pleasures wreathed no flower. Oh, why did you not melt and leave my sense unhaunted quite of all but nothingness? A third time passed they by, and passing turned each one the face a moment whiles to me, then faded, and to follow them I burned and ached for wings, because I knew the three. The first was a fair maid, and love her name. The second was ambition, pale of cheek and ever watchful with fatigued eye. The last, whom I love more, the more of blame is heaped upon her. Maiden most unmeek, I knew to be my demon Poesy. They faded, and forsooth I wanted wings. Oh folly, what is love and where is it? And for that poor ambition, it springs from a man's little heart's short fever fit. For Poesy, no, she has not a joy, at least for me, so sweet as drowsy noons and evenings steeped in honeyed indolence. Oh, for an age so sheltered from annoy that I may never know how change the moons or hear the voice of busy common sense. And once more came they by. Alas, wherefore? My sleep had been embroidered with dim dreams. My soul had been a lawn besprinkled over with flowers and stirring shades and baffled beams. The morn was clouded, but no shower fell, though in her lids hung the sweet tears of May. The open casement pressed a new-leaved vine, let in the budding warmth and throstles lay. O shadows, 'twas a time to bid farewell. Upon your skirts had fallen no tears of mine. So ye three ghosts adieu. You cannot raise my head cool-bedded in the flowery grass, for I would not be dieted with praise, a pet lamb in a sentimental farce. Fade softly from my eyes and be once more in mask-like figures on the dreamy urn. Farewell, I yet have visions for the night, and for the day faint visions they restore. Vanish, ye phantoms, from my idle sprite into the clouds and never more return. The poem is written in 6 stanzas with a stanza length of 10 as is common for odes. The rhyme scheme is straightforward. Each stanza is demarcated into a quatrain following ABAB and a sestet set to CDE, CDE or its variations. It's written majorly in iambic pentameter. Each line is of 5 iambs, an iamb being a metric structure that consists of an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. The greatest odes of the 19th century were Keats's 1819 odes on a Grecian urn, on indolence, on melancholy, to Psyche, and to autumn. Widely believed to be the result of Keats's efforts to create a new lyric poem structure, these odes are rich and complex, written with a rigid structure and an extremely pleasurable language. Oxford Languages defines indolence as the avoidance of activity or exertion, laziness. The theme of the poem makes it different from the other odes. While the others are written to intense emotions or ideas too big to be done due justice, this one seems to have stemmed from a tired mind that's so far from what he wants from life that he is driven to give up. The narrator sees 3 figures one morning with bowed necks and intertwined hands and dressed in white robes and placid sandals. They keep shifting, and the vision is akin to viewing images on a Grecian urn. If you turned the urn around, you would see the image that you saw first. He wonders how they walked so slowly that they missed his attention completely. He asks if they conspired to steal away his idle morning, a morning when he was overwhelmed by a numbness free of pain and pleasure, and takes issue with his indolence being haunted by these 3 figures. When they appear for a 3rd time in the 3rd stanza, he is seized by a desperation to have wings to fly to them, for he identifies them this time: love, ambition, and the wicked and untamed demon Poesy or poetry. In the 4th stanza, he describes ambition as that which leaps from the fitful heart, and as for Poesy, it offers no joy for him the way a quiet afternoon or an evening deep in leisure does. He craves to be free from all annoyance, so much so as to be free even from the knowledge of the changing faces of the moon and the hum of common sense. When they appear again in the 5th stanza, he is asleep with dim dreams, and his soul is a lawn of blossoms, lights, and colors. Though the sky is heavy with rain, his casement lets in warmth, and with the vines against his side, he bids farewell to the muses who failed to inspire him. In the final stanza, he says he will not be tempted by praise and asks for them to vanish into the clouds and leave him to his indolence. If ever a decadent poem was written about a Spotify meditation playlist, it would be this one. Writing about nothing like it is everything, that takes a special skill, and Keats has displayed that in spades here. But creative draughts are definitely not as trivial as nothing, and they can be times of heightened stress, leading to either another burst of excellence or a quiet end. There can be exhausting experiences, and the poet certainly seems to be navigating one of these as he forswears fleeting love, the force of ambition, and the challenge of poetry. In that state of mind, he infinitely prefers the calm to the storm, the silence to the excitement, the peace to the war. By describing the muses as wearing white robes and bearing resemblance to images on a Grecian urn, an ambience of serenity is created, and by the usage of animated language, that serenity is broken. What begins with temptation traverses through conflict and ends in rejection. And which one of us hasn't been down that road?